All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Nerd Holes. So, Will, it is July. So, you know what that means?
Yes, I do know
Yeah,
what it means.
it's Kaiju month. So, this month, the
Kaiju
Nerd Holes, we're doing all Kaiju all day,
all
all
day,
month, all month.
all month, all day.
Yeah. So, we have a few planned for this. And basically what happened is for whatever reason, Pacific Rim like slipped my mind when it came out.
Hmm.
Never saw it in theaters.
Yeah,
Never watched it when it came out. Totally forgot about it.
yeah, same.
Um, yeah, and like last year I was on an airplane and one of the movies was Pacific Rim. And I was like, hey, it's got robots and kaijus. And it was the same runtime as my flight. So I was like, heck yeah, we're gonna watch this movie.
Yeah.
And the plane landed, and I was like, dude, that's a great movie. So I like texted you, and I was like, hey, I just watched Pacific Rim. Have you ever seen it? And you're like, mm-mm. I was like, it's pretty good. Which is so funny because it's like you and I, we both love like
Yeah.
kaijus and Godzilla and monster movies and Kong and
Oh yeah.
Pacific
Big
Rim came
robot
out, and we're
battles.
like,
Yeah.
thanks. I think you know what it was. I think at
Tell
that
me.
time period, I think we were just all so sick of Transformers and Michael Bay that we were just like,
Probably.
ugh, more robots. Mm-mm.
I know the I know the two things that stopped me was one,
Idris Elba.
no, that's what got me.
Tatum. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Never.
Um, the first thing was that I didn't I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Like when the trailer played, I didn't understand it. Like I was like,
Yeah.
are they like why are they fighting them on? I just didn't get it. And then when I went to go look into it, it was like, oh, I had heard that like Pacific Rim was like a thing.
Hmm.
It was either like an anime show or a book
Oh,
series or something. I heard it was something, and I was like, well, I'm not gonna get it. I'm not gonna understand it.
yeah. And then it was like by Guillermo del Toro, and you're like,
Yeah,
what?
right, right. I
What?
was just like, well, I think I'm not gonna see that.
And then you're like, Charlie Day. What?
Right. Yeah, I mean, really.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It's weird. I don't know. I don't know what was going on in 2013, but it wasn't Pacific Rim, I'll tell you that.
That's true.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a fun movie. And so like I saw the first one and I told you and I was like, dude, so there's two and this will be a great thing to
Yeah.
like watch and talk about, you know? And
Yep.
well, I mean, we won't get into it, but recently I just kind of saw that like, hey, the second one nobody really likes. So that's good.
Yeah. I kind of saw that too, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
But yeah, we're gonna watch it. And I mean, so I don't know what the plot of the second one even is, but I just know after this one, it's kind of like, hey, what could they possibly be doing in the second one? You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
But yeah. So yeah, let's just get right into it. So Pacific Rim came out
Hmm.
in 2013, July 2nd, July 12th, 2013. So that's pretty funny. That's why July is Kaiju month, buddy. And it had 180 million budget and it made 411 million. So it did pretty good.
I just I
Pretty good.
just looked up possibly, not exactly the answer, but possibly
Yeah.
why you and I both didn't see this, even though we
Marvel.
weren't. Nope, the Wolverine came out.
Oh,
The
the
Wolverine,
Wolverine.
the Japanese, where he's in Japan.
Oh, yeah. I have sworn off using my claws for violence. Hey, can you hand me those two
Oh, by the
swords?
way,
Yeah. No, no, no. Swords are fine.
yeah. So
I do
two
enjoy that
weeks,
movie. I do enjoy that
two
movie.
weeks after that, this came out. The Wolverine came out. So
Wow. That's really funny.
Yeah.
I saw the Wolverine in theaters.
Yeah, I think I did too. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I like that arc in the comic where Wolverine
Yes.
goes to Japan.
Yes.
He's like is more peaceful. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool storyline.
And it's funny that like it's kind of funny that like these two movies, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
they're both like heavily Japan influenced, and there's a lot of
Yeah,
Japan
right, right,
things
right.
like in it. So
They
it's
are
like,
heavily Japan influenced. You said that, and my brain was like, "Oh my God, they're both about the war." And I was like, "Nope, that's -1 I just watched yesterday. Don't talk about -1.
no, don't talk about.
This is not that. This is
Oh,
not that. That, you know." So that's where my brain was like, "Oh yeah." But no,
it all
no,
comes together.
no, no.
No, it
Well,
doesn't.
I think the theme that we're gonna find during Kaiju Month is that most Kaiju things are
Hmm.
they're
Hmm.
pretty
This
Japanese.
might be a Japanese. It's
I
almost
don't know
like the word
why.
kaiju.
Why is every movie in Tokyo? I don't understand. That's really funny. What, there's no American kaiju? You
What's
know
going
what?
on?
New York City? What, we're not good enough for get a kaiju? Huh?
And then cut to the Matthew Broderick Godzilla
Yeah,
movies.
where there are the taxis in his mouth.
Ooh.
Put it in reverse. All right. So, like we previously said, Guillermo del Toro directed this movie.
Yeah.
It stars Charlie Hunnam,
Yeah.
which most people will recognize him from Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Charlie Day,
Charlie Day.
who is most recognizable from Sunny in Philadelphia.
Mario Brothers. Oh, sorry.
Mario. Yeah. And did you see Danny DeVito is gonna be Wario in the new one? So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
literally gonna
I
be
did.
Rinoko Kikuchi, which I don't know if she's from anything specifically that I recognized. She plays Mako.
Mako.
Idris Elba, you might recognize him from
Maybe
the
heard
movie
him.
where he fights the lion. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Eat or whatever. What was it
Pride
called?
or something.
Pride. It was Pride. We were trying to think of it the other week, and I was like, Prey. And we're like, no, that's a Predator movie.
It's called
It is Pride.
Beast.
Oh, it's Beast.
Yeah, that was like Pride isn't it either. I was like,
No,
it's
wow, great. Maine.
not.
Yeah, I didn't see it. No, we love Idris. Idris
We
is
love
great.
him.
He's the key holder of the Rainbow Bridge. He's,
That's right.
he's done a lot of cool stuff.
He's all the things.
We want him to be Bond, but it'll never happen.
No, it won't be. We'll
Um,
get Phoebe Waller Bridge first.
that would be. Mm. Bern Gorman, he plays that scientist guy.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Gotieb? I don't even remember his name.
Yeah.
Goteb?
Sounds good.
Ron Perlman
Ron the
is
Perlman.
plays Hannibal Chow,
Ow.
which is named after his favorite dictator and his favorite restaurant in New York City. So that's
Yeah.
interesting. And there's a couple more in here that I won't go through. I think that's pretty good. That's pretty much like the
Yeah.
main
I think the only ones you don't
dudes.
mention really who are there together is like the father and son team.
The
And that's
two Australian guys. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Robert Kaczynski and Max Martini.
Yeah. And the dad's been in like tons of stuff. That actor who plays
I
the dad.
recognized him. Yeah. Yeah, I recognized him. Yeah. So why don't we just say, I mean, you're not gonna really like go through like shot for shot, scene for scene, but it's like, so what do you enjoy, Will? What do you enjoy about this movie?
So honestly, the thing that was like I think breaks away from a lot of other movies and even like Godzilla movies
Yeah.
is um is the memory thing. Is like them
Hmm.
walking into each other and having to like basically just see everything but don't linger in those memories. And then because you're now sharing your brain, you can
Yeah.
like now fight like more fluidly. And I don't know. It's a pretty unique concept. I mean, I know other movies have done similar things, but like I can't think of a movie off the top of my head right now that like that was the driving like
Yeah.
that's how this machinery works.
It's a really cool concept that piloting this giant robot is too much for your brain. So they
Yeah,
literally split like two pilots,
right,
two brain hemispheres, right, left brain hemisphere.
right,
They
right.
come together, like you said, they go in the drift where they basically
Yeah.
Vulcan mind meld with each other
Yeah, yeah,
to
true.
pilot this giant robot.
Yeah,
Like you said, then they're both like same movements. They're in each other's head. They're
right.
fighting together, controlling the
And I'll tell you
robot.
the other thing that, and it's probably just because of a lack of me missing it or not understanding it, but it legitimately surprised me. And that, again, if the movie does it this way, then I give it a lot of credits, but I probably just missed it. Was in the, I think it's the first thing with his brother, with the main
Hmm.
guy, Charlie. What's the guy's actual name? Because his name is like Charlie.
Raylan Beckett.
Yeah, when they are going through, um, and they're attacking the knife head, right? They're
Yeah,
attacking
they're fighting
like the
Knifehead. Yeah.
thing, and they're going through. I thought, and just how I thought, that they were like in some simulator.
Oh,
Like it was like a not like a Bluetooth, but you know, like a remote control kind of thing. And they were
gotcha.
like in this room and they were like piloting it with their mind. And then they get out there and all of a sudden it's like smash and they're like, oh, and I was like, oh, they have like
Yeah,
reactionary things in their simulator, like they experience, and then like the thing rips open and I was like,
they're inside. Yeah.
oh, they're like
Well,
in it.
that's really funny. That's really funny that you didn't pick up on that because I think that's one of the coolest scenes in the very
Oh
beginning is
yeah.
they're like, hey, so like we're the pilots, we're cool, we're rock stars, we're
Yeah.
gonna jump in the thing. They get in their uniform, right? They get like
Yeah.
locked, they lock
Yeah.
their feet in like Tony Stark.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then you see, and then they're in the helmet. They're in the
Yes.
helmet, and the whole helmet like they're like, all right, initiating drop sequence, and the helmet just like the floor gives open, and the helmet goes, and it like flies down,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it
Yes. Yes.
clips in, it like clips and locks into the robot. So it's
Yes.
like they're in the head, and it locks into the robot. I think that's
Yeah.
like such a cool concept
It's
of like
fantastic. I think I just didn't put two and two together
it's
that
kind of like a blink and you miss it thing.
yeah, yeah.
Because it's like, yeah, they're going into this room with all these computers, but
I
like the
remember the helmet coming
specific,
on and like this and like they
yeah,
do something below too. Like do they attach to the legs or something? But something
I don't
happens.
remember. I know when they get like drifted and locked in, it's like the whole like, they like lock in and they like, it's
Yeah,
an
yes.
online thing. It's very
Yeah, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
But yeah, like, um, sticking on top of the intro, it's a
Hmm.
great like fast paced, like right in the thing.
Oh yeah.
But even like before that, it's kind of like the whole story of like this is where we are, right? It's like
Yes.
so it's the thing that it's so funny to me because we have this discussion all the time about Star Trek, Star Wars.
Okay.
Star Trek is like this utopian future where everything is peaceful,
Right.
high tech.
Yeah.
The world came together. Everybody on Earth is together. They're all unified.
Right.
And that's how like beautiful Earth can be.
Right.
And
Right.
Star Wars is just, chaos. It's just all dystopian,
Right.
right? But now
Yeah.
you have this movie and it's
Hmm.
it's a utopian dystopian future.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
world, everybody stops fighting wars.
Yes.
They all come together, all
Yeah.
nations on Earth come together,
Yeah.
and they all start developing giant robots to fight these kaiju that they beat the first one in like, I forget what he said, like 10, 15 days or something, took them to fight it.
Oh yeah. 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 Yeah.
Then
Yes.
it just left this devastation. They even kind of get into like, the blood is really bad for like the environment in the
I mean, I'm
ocean
like
and
how terrible it is,
it's
right?
awful. And then, they kind of rebuilt and then it was like, a few years later, another one attacks
Yeah.
and then another one. And it just becomes this thing where like, it's not going to stop. They all come together and they start
Yeah.
like the Pacific Rim program, basically.
Yeah. 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 It's
And then
very
they're great.
reminiscent.
And it's like,
Yeah.
they even get into like, so like, the pilots are rock stars or celebrities. They got
Yeah.
notches on their belt of all these kaijus they've defeated. It's
Yeah.
they're idolized. It goes into like kaijus are now like kids programming and toys and
Oh yeah.
action figures, and they're selling it. And then and then it leads off with like, well, and then it got really bad. And then it opens, that's the intro of the music. Like,
Yeah.
why is it bad? Yeah.
It reminds me too of Independence Day Resurgence too,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Because like
Yeah.
Independence Day one, everybody they bomb, but then in the sequel, it's like Earth, like you're saying, it's like they've come out of the ashes, but they're still
Yeah.
preparing for the worst kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love that. I just love that
No, it's
concept
great.
of
It's a great
like,
way to put it. It's a very unique world building where the world has come together, but yet
mhm.
it's
Yeah,
awful.
it's really bad. And what's interesting about that is like, it's not like there's a lot of information like that you go over in the beginning, but it's
Yeah.
like, it's like boom, 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 boom. Like here, this is where we're at.
I think they do. I think it's a credit to the visuals, right? Because like they
Yes.
say a couple things, but their visuals are very strong. That like
Very
okay,
on point.
I understand what's
Hmm.
happening.
Yep.
I was 15 when the first kaiju made land in San Francisco. By the time tanks, jets, and missiles took it down, 6 days and 35 miles later, 3 cities were destroyed. Tens of thousands of lives were lost. We mourned our dead, memorialized the attack, and moved on. And then, only 6 months later, the second attack hit Manila.
The acid factor of the kaiju blood creates a toxic phenomenon named kaiju blue.
And then the third one hit Cabo. And then the fourth. And then we learned this was not gonna stop. The world came together, pooling its resources and throwing aside old rivalries for the sake of the greater good. To fight monsters, we created monsters of our own. The Jaeger program was born. We started winning. Jaegers stopping kaijus everywhere. But the Jaegers were only as good as their pilots. So Jaeger pilots turned into rock stars. Danger turned into propaganda. Kaijus into toys. We got really good at it. Winning. Then it all changed.
Yep. Yeah. So then you got the two brothers. They're piloting Gypsy Danger
Oh yes,
is the name of the robot. And all the robots
yeah,
have different names.
yeah.
I can't remember them off the top of my head.
No, no way. But I do remember when you
Um
said it. I was like, oh yes, I remember.
Gypsy Dangers, even like on their jacket, you know. That's a
Um,
great that's a great like fight in the beginning too, like to get you into like this is how the movie is gonna look.
yeah.
I think it's
I
very
remember
easy to just
Crimson
make like
Typhoon. But go
Crimson
ahead.
Typhoon is the Japanese one with
Okay,
the
I was gonna say I
forearms.
remember that. But yeah. Go ahead.
Is that
Sorry.
the one with the
Sorry.
four? Is that the one with the four arm? I can't remember. That's cool. That's a cool concept too. They're
They're all yeah.
triplets,
Yes.
right? So they're like twin triplet Japanese brothers, and they all pilot a different arm. There's
Yes.
four arms, like, and they have like the big like chainsaws come spinning out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
That's good.
Anyway, so I think it's one of those things where it's like, hey, so you got these two things fighting each other, and
Yeah.
they're huge, but then on screen it's like could just be like normal things like fighting each other, like there's
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
But for me, for this movie, to me, like other than that, I have not seen other like kaiju or like giant monster movies is like you can really feel like the weight and like
Oh,
the slow movement of stuff because it's
yes.
like so scaled up.
Yes.
I don't know why. Like, did you pick up on it? It was just like
Totally.
very
Oh,
well.
totally. Yes. It's very,
The
very well.
CGI is like very,
Yeah, I know
very
it's
great.
weird.
Yeah.
It's weird how good it is. It's
Even that part, like they pick up the boat, you know, he reaches and he picks up the boat,
yes.
and you can just feel like all the water rushing off it, you know, and it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah. The thing that I really enjoyed too was the fact that like they consistently, as best they can, they consistently try to take the fights like out to the water and
away
like
from,
away from civilization,
yeah,
which I like because in a lot of other media, superhero movies, all whole bunch, like they fight in huge
yeah,
downtown
destroy
cities.
cities.
You're
Yeah,
just like,
I mean, even
okay,
Avengers, you know,
right, exactly. And so I get it. Some stuff like it's well, oh well, it's happening in the city, like oh
that's
well.
funny.
But
Well,
sometimes it's like, wouldn't you, in a scenario like this, like, wouldn't you be trying to get them away from
yeah,
everybody? Like,
it's really funny that you enjoy that because once we get into Dragon Ball Z, you'll see like that is another recurring concept. It's like, hey, if you want to destroy the
mm,
planet, you have to, first of all, you have to go through me. Second of all, we're gonna go fight in the desert. Like we're not fighting in we're not fighting in cities.
yeah. It
So it's like,
makes
hey,
sense. I
follow
mean,
me, and then let's fly away from here for like an hour, and then we'll fight. But yeah,
yeah, it
it's great.
makes
I
sense.
love that. You know, another thing this movie does very well.
Yeah.
Have you seen the recent memes of Godzilla
Okay.
standing up in water? So there's like the water line is here, Godzilla's like torso is above the water, and then underneath is just his feet. And
Oh,
it's
yes.
showing like there's tons and tons and tons of like metric meters of like just open ocean all the way to the ocean floor. Like obviously he's not standing on the ocean floor in the middle of the ocean
Right.
because that's not how it works.
Right.
So you know, they draw these little diagrams of like how he's actually standing, and it's like, you know, he's got really long legs, or he's on stilts, or it's like it's
Oh,
just
yes.
ridiculous.
Yes.
And I have not seen like monster movies the same since I saw that.
Yes.
But in this, there's a couple times where you see like, hey, we're heading out to deeper ocean, and they like
Yes.
submerge, the robot submerges and swims out there. Even when they come up to the boat, they're coming up
Yes.
on,
Yes.
you know,
It's
they
cool. Oh, it's
swam. Yeah.
they do a really, really good job of like setting up the fight scenes, and also like honestly, I was very impressed when they
Mhm.
just literally were walking into the ocean.
Yeah, it looks
I was
great.
like,
Yeah.
oh, like you're
Yeah.
not just gonna make it a CGI mess of like in a broken, downtown area. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna add water physics to this
It's
battle as
great. It's
well.
really
Like,
great.
okay.
You know what my one complaint would be is
Okay.
if I was a pilot, a Jaeger, that's what they're called. They're called Jaegers. The
Oh,
robots are called Jaegers.
Jaegers, yeah.
So they're Jaeger pilots. Um if I was a Jaeger pilot, I think I would start with having the proton cannon charged at all times. Like I don't
No.
think I would even get into like hand to hand, you know?
The only thing I can wonder is maybe it like somehow like mentally taxes you to like keep it
It mu
activated or
Well,
something.
and I think there's a finite amount of like ammo
Yeah, true.
with the whatever, what was it? Was it
I
proton or
also,
was it, because he says later on he's like emptied the clip.
yeah,
So it's like and then it's like out. So it's like you don't really want to be wasting it, I guess.
I think too that like they run on limited like core energy, right? Like they can
Yeah.
only do so much. So
And that's what's different about the Gypsy Danger is that it's nuclear.
it's nuclear,
It's a
right?
nuclear core, right? So like that whole like
Right.
big gear. I
Yeah.
love that thing in the Iron Man chest plate, and it's like
It's like,
and
yeah,
it's like
cyclic.
spinning and cooling the core. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that first fight is like really good. It shows you like, you know, like, hey, these things are serious, and it's kind of starting to change a little bit because that when that knife head kaiju like jams his head through the shoulder blade
Yes.
and severs the arm,
Yes.
it's crazy. And another thing that my brain goes to immediately was like, hey, find the guy who added like pain sensors to the
Oh.
thing and fire him immediately. Get in on
Just
it.
hey, we've hired Roger, and Roger got rid of all that. Like, thank you.
Because you know what I mean? It's like, yes, we get it.
Yes.
Like you're tied in, your brain is tied into the robot, but it's like you could also have it be your pain sensories could be not connected to like the robot parts.
Correct.
So it's like if like your
You
arm
would
gets
think
ripped
at
off,
least.
I don't want my brain to actually feel like my arm is getting ripped off
No, no,
because that's a permanent injury that he has later on.
yes,
Remember?
yes. He's like
Yeah, so
constantly
it's like
yeah,
he even tells her too. He's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take the right side because my my left shoulder is like toast."
it's
It's
still
like,
bad, right? Yeah.
wow.
Like, okay,
Yeah, yeah. Then his brother gets killed like immediately. You're like, "Oh crap!"
immediately, absolutely immediately.
And like you said, that's crazy because they're still connected. So it's like
Yeah, I did
all of
wonder
that
how.
he
Yeah,
feels all of that. It's awful.
I wondered how that was going to go because I was like, is he? Because I didn't think
No.
honestly. I knew that he was the main guy. I guess
Yeah.
was like a famous ish actor, and I was like, so is he dead?
I
Like,
think you also see in the trailer too that like him and uh Mako are like teammates later on.
okay,
I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty rough. I did
I
not
see.
expect that. I didn't expect that the first time I saw it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And then he just using like pure human rage and pain and anger.
Just pain. Yeah, right.
He
Brings it
kills
back
Knifehead and pilots it back to the shore.
by himself. Yeah.
Oh yeah, all by himself. Yeah, that's crazy. That scene too, dude. Like when I think this movie really sets up like look, these are the visuals that we've got in this movie. Is when he pilots it back, it's got the father and son or the grandpa and
Oh,
his grandkid. They're out, and he's like, "I'd like to find a ship, a whole ship with this metal detector." And he's like,
yeah.
"Whoa, got something! Oh, got something!" And then you see it kind of coming through like the snow, like
Yeah.
haze, gypsy danger.
Yeah.
And it like when he knees down and like crashes into the
Oh,
snow,
yeah.
and like it even shows that like the weight of it ruffles up the ground underneath, and it's like the dark sand on
Yes.
top of
Yes.
the snow. It's like, man, that is so good. Like it looks so
Yes.
great, and the visor's
Yeah.
all broken. He comes like crawling out of the visor.
Yeah. It is
It's
really
great.
good.
It's really great. And those original suits are pretty cool too. The full white
Oh, yes.
suits. They're almost like Warhammer suits. He's got like the big
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
pauldron, right? The big like white
Yeah.
pauldron with the big logo on it, like Warhammer 48.
Yes.
I was like,
Yes. Yes.
that's
Yes.
pretty
I didn't
sweet.
even think about that, but yes. Yes.
That's what it
That's
reminded me of because it's got like the big wing
yes. I know what you're
on
talking
the
about.
thing. Yeah. I loved it. Yeah. Yeah. So then, like, typical movie, it's like, all right, 5 years have gone by.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Immediately.
And they're
Time
like,
jump.
hey, we're shutting down the Jaeger program. And you're like, why are they doing that? Like, we're putting all of our money into the wall.
Into the
It's
wall.
like, where have you guys been the past like 10, 15 years? Why do you think a wall is gonna stop
No
a
problem.
nah? Like that's kind of stupid, right? I mean, as far as like
It's pretty dumb.
parts of the movie, I mean, whatever. But it's like, and they even show it like on the news. They're like, it breached the sea wall. And that guy, just like in Rogue One, the guy in the
Oh,
back of the group, he's like, why are we even building these things?
yeah. Yeah. Yes.
What
The
is
thing,
she proposing?
the thing that I was thinking was like, okay, like you see what they do to the Jaegers, like you see what
Oh,
they
they just slice right through them.
so
Yeah.
it's like, are you building the wall out of completely different material? Like,
No,
so
no,
it's
just
like,
steel I beams and concrete. I mean, you saw
did
you
you
saw
like
them working
what did
out.
they? It's like they treat these things like they're Homer Simpson or something. Like they're gonna come out of the water and then just be like,
Oh, mm,
"Is this a wall?"
what
Like,
is this? A wall?
oh god. Well, I guess I gotta go back. Like,
Well,
whatever.
I better return and tell the others.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's over. I mean, they put up a wall. You should see this thing. You
It's
just see
like
this wall. It's a beautiful wall. Okay. It's a beautiful.
it's, it's like eye level. I can barely look over it.
I wonder if I just took both hands and just. Oh, yeah.
No.
Mm. That's pretty. Wow. Mm.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's some good craftsmanship right there. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
it
And the
is.
video that they show on the news is that kaiju just like blam and
He
just
just
walks
plows.
right to it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
As usual, then
Yeah.
the world is like, oh God, we have to have the things we decommissioned. You're like, oh really? How surprising.
And it's also one of those things that we see in all these movies all the time. He's like, hey, I'm not gonna ever pilot another one of those things. I lost my brother out there. I'll never, ever do it. And he's like, well, you're the kind of last hope, And it's like,
Maybe.
He's like, well, we got, Gypsy Danger still. We got it all rebuilt. And he's like,
is there a
all
pretty
right,
lady involved?
I'll get my bag.
Yeah.
I do love that shot though of Idris talking to him in the construction site, and he's sitting on it's like that
yes.
old rubble thing. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think the funny thing, and you and I always talk about it, is it's always interesting when a film or a TV series takes the mundane of life
Mhm.
and excels it to a thing that's like ridiculous. So here they are building this huge wall
Yeah.
for kaijus to stop attacking the city, but when you look at it, it's like a mixture of like the coal miners
Oh
from,
yeah, it's
from
awful.
the old days, and also like the skyscraper builders of New York City.
Yeah, of New York City.
It's very reminiscent of that. Like the guys are just like sitting on the beams and just like eating lunch and like looking
Yeah,
all
I know,
dirty.
right?
It's hilarious.
Well, even that
The other
scene.
one too. Oh, Andor, where they're getting the gloves like
Oh
off the
yeah,
wall and stuff. It's just stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And Obi-Wan chopping up meat for a
Yeah.
living.
Yes.
Well, even in that scene, he's like, all right, I got good news and bad news.
Yo,
Yesterday, 3 guys fell off the top of the wall. And like,
Yes.
the good news, I got 3 job openings for the top of the walls. It's like, oh my God.
too soon.
Yeah. But it's cool seeing them actually. I enjoyed seeing them actually working on the wall. Their like
Yes.
welding backpacks are a really cool
Yeah.
design, and they keep
Yes.
them in that like storage. I was like, man, those are really cool.
It was.
Yeah. Love it, right? He's up there looking out over and everything, and
The person whoever sat down and like storyboarded and then did like, what do you want to say, like prop design, but also just like general
yeah,
like theme and image, like not images,
Yeah.
but like the appearance of the film,
storyboard drawings or whatever. Like they're
all
actually
that. Like whoever sat down and did that, like really brought this world to life for something out of its mind as it is, like giant robots controlled by humans fighting deep sea kaiju monsters. It's very well grounded.
Well, that's the thing. I think that's the thing that makes it so good. And I think, that's why like The Walking Dead was really good to begin with. At least the graphic novels, because you have just normal day-to-day life.
Right.
But the supernatural thing is the zombie. All right. So it's not like the zombies are not normal, but everything else is normal.
Is normal, right?
So with this movie specifically, like you're saying, like everything is normal. Like life sucks. It's hard. It's, work is crazy. And then there just also happens to be a kaiju attack every 6 months.
Oh, well. It's like hurricane season, right? Like,
exactly.
Here it comes.
Oh, that was a real bad kaiju.
That was bad. Oh, God.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to see what's on Netflix? Or it's like, it's just how it is.
And I also love not, that Australian kid is like really, really awful.
Oh, the son. Yeah.
But I really do like that even in that realm of like kaiju pilots, like he views him as being like washed up, and the fact that he was working on the wall instead of being a pilot is like just a waste of his life,
Right.
I was like, man, that's harsh, but like that's
yeah
true.
It's like
But it's like,
he's
what do you want him to do? He can't
yeah,
pilot the thing
right.
alone, you know? I don't know.
It's a little it's like I get the guy's mentality, but he also kind of is like a weird flat character because he's like
No,
there has to be a jerk, right? Kind of a
yeah,
character, right?
yeah, he's the hotshot jock who thinks he's, you know,
Which is why I liked the British or German the scientist guy and Ron Perlman's character. I liked those two guys as being
hmm,
more adversarial because it seemed like they had more going on with them. It
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
felt like this Australian Sun character was like he was
yeah.
mad because it was written for him to be mad. It didn't seem like there was
It's
a lot of reasoning to it.
it's yeah, you need the main character to prove that he is still
Right.
top dog,
Exactly.
and you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
just because you're, you know, a cocky idiot doesn't
Yeah.
mean like you're great in a fight, you know.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
And you also need a character to kill off at the end. So
Well, that's true.
you also
But he's
need a
got to have
jerk.
redemption first. He's got to have a
Well, that's the
redemption.
thing. That's the thing is you need, yeah, you need the jerk character to show respect and then sacrifice his life.
That's the only way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they're pretty good. I like the two German
Yes.
pilots. It
Yeah.
was cool how they're like, yeah, that thing was built, you know, that was like one of the first Jaegers built and it's still going strong. It's like all titanium or whatever.
Yep. I remember that.
We are approaching the kaiju. Initiate phase cannons. Like, they're pretty great.
Thousands.
Oh no, water's getting into the reactor.
Were they were are you talking about the man and
It-
woman team?
yeah.
I think they were Russian.
Were they Russian? I thought they were
I
German.
think
Maybe
so.
they're Russians. Yeah. They had like
Because
the
wasn't
Borg.
there Jaeger called like Chernobyl or something? It was
Oh,
called something
yeah,
like that.
you're right. You're right. They were Russian. Yeah. Yeah. And they had like the Borg like helmets with like the red
Yes.
light and everything.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah,
Pretty.
so what happened? So there's so, you know, you kind of go through the whole thing of like
They. Yeah.
Beckett and Mako are like training together, and like Idris doesn't want her there because you
Right.
kind
Kind
of
of.
reveal that like he
Yeah.
saved her as a kid and he's
Yeah.
kind of been parenting her.
Yeah.
I like
They show that the wall fails, and then they kind of cut back and they're trying to get what you just said his name Rowley or something. Rail,
yeah, I
whatever.
think it's yeah, Beckett is his last name.
Back at yeah, they have him like they're trying to get him to go to the Jaeger program, and then after that, it's the Mako, and we're introduced to Charlie Day and the
Oh yeah, Dr. Newton.
yeah.
What's his name? Pentecost? Is that Idris Elba's character? Stacker. It's like cut off. I can't see it.
If you have
Pent.
it, yeah, then yeah, that's got to be it.
It doesn't. I can't read all of it. Just says Stacker Pent. It's got to be. I think it's Pentecost.
Yeah,
No.
that sounds right. Pentecost, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So they're when they're getting to the base and they get in the thing. It's like they're in the elevator with all this like,
Yeah,
you know, specimen containers and stuff. And
yeah,
yeah, like you said, you meet Charlie Day, and he's Charlie Day, just a scientist.
this is scientist. Yeah,
I
yeah,
think he's great. I love
I
him.
loved all that stuff. Even though the other guy was like more annoying, the other actor, not him.
Oh,
Just the
he's
character.
great too, though. Yeah.
He's great, right? And I liked
Well,
that.
he's the mathematician,
Right, exactly.
and Charlie
Exactly.
Day's the crazy scientist, like kaiju groupie. He has all the
Yeah,
tattoos and
he had the
stuff. It's like-
tattoos. Yeah, 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 yeah. And I liked that he just like he knew what they were. He
Yeah.
knew what like he had tattoos of like the really early ones and stuff like that.
And again, like you say, like it grounds the universe because, like, yeah, you would have scientists like studying these things. Why are these things attacking? What is their, do they have a weakness? Do they have, all this stuff?
Is this the movie? Is this the movie where? Yeah, it is. Okay, the scene where Charlie Day is like talking, and he's explaining something to somebody, It's either Pentecost or
Yeah.
Beckett or somebody.
So there's a scene where Pentecost is down there, and the other mathematician guy is giving him like within like 4 days we will see like a a double kaiju event, and then followed
Okay.
by a triple kaiju event.
And there's the shot where I think Charlie Day is standing and there's like this vat
Yeah,
behind him. And it's like the brain or
it's
something.
part of the brain. Yeah,
Part of the brain.
and the tentacle is like
And the oh
suctioning.
man, I was like, oh, I really liked it. I really liked that it was still like,
Yeah,
still trying to like whatever, eat him or assimilate into him or something. But yeah, I just really like it when he gets close to it and it's like it sticks to the
it was
glass.
cool. It's a cool scene because they're both explaining their theories. And you
Yes.
get to see like both sides. So it's like he's a mathematician. He's all about numbers and science. Numbers don't lie. And Charlie Day is like, yeah, that's great. But also like I think I could mind meld with the kaiju and we could learn all this crazy
Like learn
stuff about it.
everything.
And they're like, that's insane. He's like, yeah, it's insane. But it would work. So later on when he does it, he's doing like the voice memo.
Yes, yes.
And he's like, yeah, and this is your fault because either I die and you push me to do it, or I live and it's still your fault because you didn't believe in me. It's great. But I love that,
Yeah.
dude. They come in the room and he's just like his eye is like bleeding.
Yeah.
And he's like he's so great in that scene,
It's great. It's great.
And they're like, well, you're such an idiot. Why would you do that, And then Pentecost is like, great, I'm gonna need you to do it again.
always have to do it again.
And he's like, well, I don't have another brain. And he's like, you have access to brains? And then, so now you go on this whole side quest of like, hey, there's this whole like, because it's humanity and they're awful, like there's this whole like black market that guys,
Yep.
that they're stealing all this kaiju parts and selling on the black market. I love that.
Yeah. That was so. I love the fact there's a couple lines that Ron Perlman says as Hannibal Chow, and it's just like, oh man, it's so believable that this is
Yeah.
what they're doing, right? Like as people, because he
Yeah.
talks about like cutting up and giving meat to people, like people are eating it,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
they're selling the little things, right? Remember
The
Cloverfield?
parasites.
The
The
parasite
parasites.
things, right? Yeah, it's uh,
Yeah, it's
what was the
great.
thing? Charlie Day was like, oh, that's right. He says to him, like a perfect example. Charlie Day is like, oh man, wait a minute, like that's like a parasite from the thing,
Yeah.
and he's like, I've never seen one alive.
Yeah, they don't live long after.
And then Ron Perlman's like, yeah, they do. They live long.
He's like, yeah, you have to if you put them right into
It's like pneumonia or something.
pneumonia. Yeah, if you put them right in pneumonia, yeah, they last.
Yeah.
He's just going through the room and it's like all this stuff, He's like, I don't know. Ron Perlman character, he's like, I don't care what they are, what they do. All I know is that a pound of kaiju bone goes for $100,000.
Yeah.
He's got those gold like
Yes.
laps on it and he clips on his like shoes. He's like
Yeah.
he's great in this movie.
He is.
Yeah. And then when he kind of like reveals to him, like, yeah, I need, a brain because I want to like drift and learn.
Oh.
He's like, oh, that's the most insane thing I've ever seen. And he kind of like looks at his eye and he like sees that he's like, oh my God, you've already done it. He's like, oh yeah. Like, oh great. So he's like, it's a
Yeah,
two-way street, you idiot. Like, like we gotta get out of here, like get to the bunker.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I thought for sure Charlie Day was gone.
I did too when I first was watching this. Yeah.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
interesting.
but so that's like the one plot hole I will say is that
Okay.
if that brain in the tank was functional
Okay.
and he mind melds with it,
Yep.
and then the link goes both ways.
Yep.
So now that brain learned, everything that like humans are doing
Yeah.
and sends that information back to the hive, the kaiju hive,
Right.
it's like, okay, I get that. But also, like, if that brain has been in the secret base, does it not pick up information between anything in its surrounding to like send back to the hive?
I don't
Because it's
know.
just not connected. So it's like, so once it's connected, how does it send? I guess because it doesn't have like ears connected to the brain or anything, I would
I guess
assume.
the way I interpreted it was when he connects to it, it has all it like immediately downloads all current to past information that he
Yeah.
has. And because the kaijus work as a hive mind, tapping into this brain is like tapping into all of their brains.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
So
I guess it just couldn't have overheard government like conversations
right.
being in the vat until it was connected to his
Right. Well, it's
actual
only
brain.
going to have Charlie Day's memories and like thoughts.
Yeah.
It's not going to have anything that the government. It's only going to know what he knows.
Right. And he knows everything. He knows that they're sending down a boarhead. They're going to try to
Right.
close
Right. Right.
the portal.
Right. Yeah.
But then the other one knows where he is too.
Yeah, which I
Remember,
did
he
think was
goes,
kind of strange, but I mean, it was okay, but I did think it was strange.
I like that. That's a really funny, like, a Fallout kind of thing is like if you have money, you have a really nice like bunker, like secured bunker.
Oh,
But if you're just like common people, you all run to this like underground thing. It's all like leaking water and it's like very,
yes.
very dangerous.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And they're like, oh, he he knows where I am. And they like all throw him in the center of the bunker, you know.
Yeah. And then this is the part too that I was also very surprised by it, and it was actually succeeded in making me go like, "Oh wow!" Was it dies, right? They kill it.
Oh, yeah. Well, let's talk about the
Oh,
yeah, so so we are there. So we're kind of in the same time period as like um the same time period like Dr. Newton's in the city looking for a
yeah,
brain. You have a double kaiju event
yes,
that is happening. So they send out everybody but Gypsy Danger because
yes,
their test had previously gone bad where their drift crashed.
yeah,
And
because
and you see how bad that is if it, you know, they split.
because it's not because Becca gets lost in her memory; it's she gets lost.
He sees his brother,
Yes,
which is really bad. And he comes out of it and their brains kind of shift. But from seeing that, her brain goes to her traumatic event. And you
okay,
get to see her like as a child in the city with that big like
yeah,
that big crab
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
great. That's a
yeah,
great like the him like stomping through the city and everything.
yes, yes.
That's really, really good.
It
Yeah.
is really good. Her running and yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Then he's like,
Yeah.
Mo. I just
And
want to
then the
eat this
other,
one.
I don't know what the name of his robot is that it's so it's Idris Elba's robot like
Right.
lands and he comes out and saves her basically. So like she puts her hand so in her memory, she puts her hand up to like block the kaiju and
Oh
that like
yes.
engages like the Jaeger's like photon cannon. It's like and it's like charging like in the
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and they're like pull the plug and they're like I did. I've
Oh
already
yeah,
pulled
he's
the
holding the
plug.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, no
I forgot.
response. They're all hitting like the emergency buttons. Like, there's no response. And he's like trying to like yank the big like power thing out of the thing.
I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that guy. That's so funny. Yeah. Like the
Oh,
main
that guy
IT
is
guy.
great. Yeah. And so he knew Beckett from the beginning.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
where
he's
is
great.
that
Yeah,
guy?
he's super funny.
Yeah. Clifton Collins Jr. He plays Ops Tendo.
Tendo.
Tendo. Yeah, he's like the main IT guy. And that's even the thing, like right in the beginning when they're like talking. They're like, "Hey, how was your date last night?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, she loved me, but you know, her husband didn't." And then they're all like joking. Then Idris walks in. He's like, he's like, "All right, generals in the room." You know, it's like all like
Yes.
business.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, he's really great. Yeah, so they kind of get benched, right?
Yep.
Beckett beats the crap out of the Australian guy because he doesn't want them like helping the mission,
Right.
and he calls her names in the hallway, and he tells her to him to apologize, and he basically just shows his dominance in that scene pretty good.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that's fun. So then they all get sent out to fight the double kaiju. Everybody but Gypsy Danger. It
Yeah.
goes
And then
very well. It goes very well.
extremely well.
Extremely well.
They definitely don't lose like
No.
5 or 6 people.
Well, all the robots. And this is all they have left. Like, this is all the world has left.
Yeah, it's
These are all
yeah.
the Jaegers left, and they all kind of gathered to this one place outside of
Yeah.
Tokyo. Yeah, so you have like the Japanese guys with the 4 arms, you have the Russians, and you have
Yep.
the Australian team
Yep.
out there. And they get just devastated.
Yes. They get well, the one starts to like kind of do cool things, the triplet guys, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, it's not.
The other one attacks it. Yeah, they all kind
Yeah.
of forget that there's two. Like while there's, it's like, oh yeah, these guys are really good at taking on kaiju's, but they've never had to take on two kaiju.
Two, it doesn't right.
So they're like fighting to one, and then the other one grabs them, and it's like, oh, they're done.
It's done.
So what was the two? It was, I think it was Leatherback was the one.
Oh yeah, the monsters. Yeah.
Yeah, the one with the big tail. I don't remember what his name was.
I don't remember.
Switchback.
Switchback.
Um,
I'm trying to see if they
I don't know. Yeah, so they're all fighting, and then I think it's I think it's the Leatherback one. He sends out that like impulse. Um,
Otachi.
that's his name, Otachi.
Otachi is the other kaiju.
Nice. Don't
There's
remember that.
Leatherback and Otachi.
That's funny. Yeah, so he sends out that EMP. That kaiju sends out like that full EMP and knocks
Yeah.
out like all the power.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Hey, you know what your robot doesn't run on power?
This one.
This one."
Yeah.
So now, yeah. So now this gets great. But in the meantime, the two Australian guys like unharnessed, and they take like the flares out of the
Oh yes.
back of the robot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So because like the robot's just dead in the water with no power, so they're like, all right, let's get the flares, and they like get up to the top of the thing, and they like shoot like the Leatherback like in the eye. It
Yeah.
like does nothing.
Nothing.
But Gypsy Danger shows up just in time.
Yep.
This is a great fight scene.
Yes.
They're kind of like grappling, and then Leatherback throws Gypsy, and like that scene where he's just like flying over the road.
Oh, wow,
Gypsy Danger's
yes.
like flying through the road, and it's like very like slow,
Yes, yes,
and then
yes,
just
yes,
lands
yes.
into the shipping yard, and just like all the shipping containers just explode. Yeah, it's pretty great. So then
Yeah,
they fight
yeah,
on
yeah.
they fight on land there in the shipping container.
I forgot about that. Yes.
Yeah.
I remember he grabs like part of the
He grabs like the two containers in both hands, and he's just like, blam.
Yes.
Yeah. I forget what happened. They grapple for a while, and then the like this is the part I said where he says empty the clip, and he's just like, blam. They're like he's
Yes.
holding him, and she's like like shooting him like through the stomach.
Yeah.
And then they're like, all right, he's done. And Beckett's like, no. Because this is what happened with his brothers. They thought they
Yeah.
killed the kaiju, and then it wasn't dead.
Right.
So he's like, let's make sure this thing's dead. And he's like, he turned on, he's going, and it like the whole chest look opens up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty great.
Pretty good stuff.
And then they head into the city to fight the other guy.
Yeah. And this is where like Charlie Day's character is like running around in the city.
Yeah, he's doing crazy city stuff. Yeah. And this, what's funny is this reminds me of the 2000 American Godzilla movie.
Oh,
When
okay.
they're in, like, specifically so the scene in the Godzilla movie is when the helicopters are shooting Godzilla through Manhattan, like Times
Okay.
Square,
Yeah.
and they're like doom doom doom, and then they like turn the corner, they turn the block, the different block, and there's
Yeah.
no Godzilla, and they're like, oh, he's gone, and they're just kind of like patrolling, and then I think Godzilla like comes out of the building or something and like grabs one of the
Oh,
helicopters.
yes.
And that's
Yes.
like specifically what happens. He's like Gypsy's like chasing the kaiju. Kaiju
Yeah.
disappears, and he's like, "All right, we got to patrol." And he's got like the lights on, and they're like walking through, and there's like these cool shots of like cityscape and the
They're
robots just kind of
looking.
walking through. Yeah,
Yeah. It is cool.
and he comes out of a building. Yeah,
I'm over here.
I'm over here. Yeah, but then he's got wings. Like so, they cut off his tail.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Remember, they're like, "Oh, the cannon's out." Or no, that's not. This isn't the scene.
No,
something
that's like
oh, they
later.
use the freeze. Um,
Yeah.
she has like his tail, and he's like, dump the freon or whatever it is, and it like freezes his
Something
tail,
about
and his
maybe
tail
the
like
core,
breaks
keeping
off.
the core cold
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, yeah. It freezes his tail, snap his tail off, and then he grows wings. And he's like, "Oh yeah," and you're like, "Oh, this is bad. This is really bad." Yeah.
But then they get him, they slice him.
That's pretty sweet, right? The
Yeah.
sword.
Yeah.
He's like, we're all out of hardware, and she's like, oh no, we still have hardware, and she's like, it's like the big screen comes up, and it's like sword, and she's like sword mode, and it
Yeah.
comes out like a chain, like down
Yeah.
the arm, and it's like, and that clips in, clump, 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 and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
slices right through the wing. That's pretty great.
Yeah.
There's a scene like that too in the beginning when they first show them getting in their uniform, and they put like the spine link, like the Dr. Octavius like
Oh,
spine
yes.
link to the
Yes.
suit. And it's
Yes.
like clunk, 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 clunk. And then you can see all like the things like grappling into the spine. It's like,
Yes.
oh, why do we keep putting things in the spine?
Have to.
I hate it.
Yeah, but don't they slice it like up in the middle of the air too, right? Don't they?
Hmm. Yeah, and then they fall like, like
Yeah.
super far. And they have to use like the reverse thruster like once.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
And then this is, I think, isn't this soon after where they're looking at the body, right?
Yeah, so after the fight and Gypsy safe and like returned back to the base and everything, yeah.
They're
The other
like
thing
looking at
too,
it.
in the main fight with the leatherback guy, the one thing
Okay.
I forgot I liked was he's like engage like rocket thrusters.
Okay.
So it's like his fist kind of comes back and then engages like rockets on the back and like for like a rocket punch. I was like, that's pretty great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Russian robot too had like a power fist.
Okay.
He kind of was like holding the one kaiju, and then the fist would like accelerate, like come out and punch,
Okay.
like
I
an actual like accelerate. It was cool. There's like really small details of like how stuff functions,
Oh, yeah.
and you're like,
Is
yeah, that's
this
pretty cool.
what fight scene is when they punch through the building and it hits the Newton's cradle thing?
Oh, that was before he grows wings.
Okay.
Yeah, he goes to swing at him, and the fist goes in. And it's like it's the weirdest shot in the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's so it's so like Del Toro, like out of its mind.
Yes.
It's like, hey, right in the middle of this giant fight scene, I want this fist to just barely touch this office chair, and that office chair hits the desk, and the ball swings and comes back. Like, that's really cool. That's really cool. I like it's great, but
It's
it's like
great.
it's
It
so
works.
like where is that?
The way
Where's
that it breaks through the office building was really impressive.
you know what that is? That's saying like, hey, you see how much we spent on the CGI? We built this whole every one of these buildings in this fight scene, all these
Yeah.
offices, they're all pre-rendered. All these office buildings. There's
It's real.
there's desks and there's post-it notes and there's calendars, and they all have like their own filing
Yeah.
cabinets full of like files and stuff. You don't see any of it, but it's
No,
all there. We
it's all
built
there.
every piece of
It's
paper.
accounted for. Yeah,
Dude,
it's really funny.
that's really funny. Yeah, that's a great scene. Yeah, so then they're looking at they're gonna harvest the brain and the
Yeah.
parasites. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I gotta send the guys. And so they're in there with their walkie-talkie, and they're like, I think we're getting close to the brain.
Yeah.
They weren't anywhere near the brain.
Nope.
Yeah, that's a crazy surprise. I remember one of the first time I saw this, it's like, whoa, like did not see that
No, I
coming.
totally didn't see that coming. That was like, I was really surprised when that happened. And on top of it, that it eats Hannibal Chow.
Oh yeah. Well, that's such a yeah. So they're like, is that a heartbeat? And then yeah, so basically, no, it is the wing one with the tail that
Yeah.
they're harvesting. It like has a baby in
Right.
there, and it like comes out to kill
Yeah.
everybody, and like Hannibal Chow runs away immediately,
Immediately.
and then he comes back with his like switchblade, and he's like, yeah, one look, and I knew it was dead. It was already dead. His lungs weren't developed yet, and he couldn't breathe oxygen, and the umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck. One look, I knew. One glance, I already knew he was gone. And then just like Deep Blue Sea, it just chomped him down, and that's when it actually choked to death. Was when Hannibal was in his throat and couldn't get past the umbilical cord.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I like that. It just surprised me that they, I don't know.
Yeah,
just
because like
surprised me
why
they had this-
why yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's how Charlie gets his brain, because the other brain was damaged.
Right.
So now he has this infant thing, and I love that scene where he comes up and he's like, and he like shoves the spike in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
they both did. Then the mathematician guy comes over and he's like, it was supposed to be a triple. And what's those ones in the triple? And he's like, I was wrong, but I can't be wrong. He's like, so I'm gonna drift with you.
Yeah.
So they all like drift together. It's great,
Yeah.
And he's like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, let's do this thing. Yes. I was like,
Yeah.
great. Well, how
They
cool
learned
is it,
about the
though?
triple attack. Yeah.
But how cool is it though? Like, this story on the surface is like, hey, it's giant robots fighting kaijus. But now you're starting to learn that like these kaijus are all like fabricated by these like
Yeah, yeah.
makers.
Yeah.
They're like built. They're like designed. That's why they keep getting worse and worse, because they see like what the humans are using back, and they,
Yep.
that's why they built Knifehead, and his head can pierce the Jaeger armor and just gets worse and worse. And now they're
Yep.
throwing more at the table.
Yeah, they're ending up I mean I think they describe it as basically they learned that like it's like
Yeah.
a expedition kind of thing. Like the monsters are like sending things to test it.
Yeah.
And once they do, they keep sending like bigger and bigger things.
And they're gonna take over. Yeah, their whole goal is to take over the planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's cool. Like every time they drift, they kind of see like the kaiju like on an operating table, and they're like, bzz, 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 and they're like, and it's like, wow, these are like fabricated, because that was part of his theory in the beginning, was like, this piece of brain I have, and this from 10 years ago, and this piece of brain from recently is like the same. So these things are like, he came to the conclusion that like they were created or like cloned or reused.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, basically.
They are.
So it's pretty cool. But they realize, I think in this drift, they realize that like the kaiju, the portal thing can only let in a kaiju signature.
Yeah, like it's like coded. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Australian kid's dad hurts his arm.
Yeah, from the fight. Yeah.
And he can't pilot. So this is also the time where you learn that Idris Elba's character has like radiation cancer from
Yeah.
the early Jaegers that they built, like scratch built in 6 months. Like nobody was thinking about radiation poisoning. And you see
No.
it throughout the movie. He takes this little like
He, like,
pedal out
dabs
of the
his-
thing,
Yeah.
and his nose bleeds here and there, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, the doctor said if I piloted a Jaeger one more time,
That'd
I'd be
be
dead. And then he comes out of the room. He's like, well, I'm ready to pilot this Jaeger one more time.
one more time.
One more time. And he was like, don't worry, I'm taking your son, but it's not a death mission. And he's like, yeah, that's my boy. You got my boy there.
That's my
It's
boy.
like, yeah, they're dead. Like you knew
Yeah.
they're dead.
Oh, definitely not coming back.
No.
When they
They're
say
gone.
things to each other, like they're like,
Yeah, I never told you.
right?
Because we're always linked. Because our brains are always together. I never thought I had to say it like in person. He's like, Dad, I know how you feel. I feel the same way, Father. I love you, Father. I love you, Father. I know you didn't know if you should give me a hug or kick me in the ass, but it was a hug. All right, I'll see you. I'll see you after this mission, Father. We'll catch up then. I know we'll have a good time then, Dad.
No, we won't.
And that's the day he learned that his boy was just like him. Cats in the cradle in the silver spoons. Yeah. So that's pretty
When you
funny.
coming
So
home, Dad? I don't
I
know.
don't
when.
know when.
But we'll get together then, son.
You know, we'll fight a kaiju then, son. You know? Yeah. So this mission is like they're taking this bomb payload in and
Oh,
they're gonna
man.
blow up the portal. Because if they can get rid of the portal, the kaijus won't come through anymore.
You know what's really funny is like how many movies when aliens attack, they're always like nuclear weapons. They're like, yes. Like almost always, like something terrible's happening. Do we
Yeah.
nuke it with a bomb? Yes.
I think so, yeah. I think we have to. Yeah. I was just reading the handbook, the warfare handbook, and it says if your opponents are humans, no nukes.
Don't do it.
But these ones aren't. So I think we're good to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Release the laser.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's always the thing, right? What if we just blow it up really, really hard?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly.
Like we've tried sending bombs down before, and like, have we ever sent down 2 bombs?
It's just the thing that like it's fine. A nuclear bomb is very powerful. That's fine. But it's just like I always kind of wish that they just try something slightly different, you know,
Yeah.
just a little bit more out of the box thinking.
Well, that's the thing that's funny, right? Is they're like, "Oh, we've sent bombs down before and they didn't work, you know?" And now they come to the realization that like, "Hey, so a bomb will just get deflected off unless it has like a kaiju signal."
Right.
And they're like, "Oh." So that tells me 2 things. That tells me that they have never once gone down in a kaiju and seen the portal with their own
Mhm.
eyes ever.
No.
And they've also never gone down and like placed a bomb to see what happens
Right. Right.
around the portal to see that like because you could have solved this 10 years ago. If you're
Right.
just like, all right, we need to blow up this thing, you go down there and they're like, all right, deploying the bomb, they throw the bomb and the bomb just goes bounce. Like, you know?
What if the joke is
And
that they were sending the bombs through the portal and just other aliens and other worlds were just like la la la. Yeah, like this thing just come out of the sky.
yeah. No, I can see that. I can see that. I also can just see like they're sending it in, they're like, all right. And there's just like one kaiju and he's just like he just throws it back up.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So then so then there is a 3 kaiju event. And they fight these underwater, which was cool, I thought.
There is.
I thought the whole
which
like
was great.
underwater
Yeah,
battle was
yeah,
great. Yeah.
completely different fight
I'm
arena.
like, oh my god, there's
Yeah.
a third one.
Yep.
Hey, it's a level 5. We've never seen a level 5. And it like comes out, it like slowly rises like dum 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 dum.
Yeah,
He's like-
you're gonna need a bigger Jaeger.
yeah. And Gypsy Danger gets beat pretty good too. Loses an arm, loses half its leg.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I
think
totally thought after.
no, yeah, go ahead. I was waiting for you.
Oh, sorry. I totally thought that he like the whatever's the Beckett's character was gone. I didn't think actually he was gonna make it.
Mm. Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I did too the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know, leading up to this point, you don't even know that like the Jaegers are equipped with escape pods
Wicked
essentially.
connections. Yeah. 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 I
Yeah.
don't know.
I like that though. Her suit is like losing oxygen,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and he unplugs his and plugs her into his oxygen.
Yep.
He ejects her, and then
Yeah.
he goes over and he has to manually engage the nuclear
Yeah.
meltdown sequence of the robot.
And I think too, there's like that computer image of her like ejecting, and it shows like inflator, like airbags
Oh
like
yeah.
expand, so she's rising to the top of the ocean like
Yeah,
fast.
it like shoots out, and then like these pads around it like inflate with air, and it like
Right.
takes her up quick.
Right. Yeah.
Hopefully the inside pressure stays the same so she doesn't get the
So
bends. No, okay, good.
it's
Yeah.
slow release there.
So Idris Elba and the kid like blow themselves up to
Oh
like
yeah.
destroy the two
Yeah.
Gaijus that are coming in.
Yeah.
But the one level 5, the class 5 is like still around.
Yeah.
So Gypsy engages the stuff and then like grabs the kaiju and like, like rides him through the portal.
Yeah.
I think even on the way down he like ends up blasting part of his head off or something. I think he kills him.
I really don't remember.
Pretty sure he kills him on the way down. But that's a really, really cool shot, like seeing on the other side of the portal when he's like coming through and it's like huge
Yeah.
and there's like all this stuff going on. There's all these like
Yeah.
kaijus all standing around,
They're all like, what?
and it's just this
Yeah.
like free floating like robot, like
Yeah.
yeah.
I think he kills it with a sword through the chest.
Yeah, that sounds right. Because he still had the sword.
Yeah.
Although
Maybe not.
I think the sword arm is the one that they lose because that's her side. I think he uses the cannon at the end, to blast him
Oh,
one
maybe.
time.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the other thing about the photon cannon thing. Like you see it a couple times and it's like, all right, I'm gonna shoot him, and it's like buzz. It's like, hey, maybe let's make the charge up sequence a little bit. I mean, I get like on the full scale, like large scale like that, it is. And I think that's
Yeah.
why it feels more realistic because it wouldn't just be like oh, it's hot and ready to shoot. It's like, no, it has to like
Yeah.
really
It
charge
does definitely
the thing.
add to the fun realism of it that like these are all hastily built as best as they can. Like they're functional and they serve their purpose, but
Yeah.
they're not pretty. They're not like
Well, they don't have time to like don't have time to like rebuild them because they're like patching holes, before like the
You
next
almost-
attack.
yeah, you almost get the impression that when they first put one off the line, like they almost don't have any what do you want to call it? Like
Yeah. Like weaponry or anything.
well, not so much that oh gosh, like a dry run. Like it's just like you're just
Oh
going in
yeah,
it
you're
kind of
doing
thing.
it.
Like
Yeah.
yeah.
I think the dry run was putting one guy in a helmet and frying his brain. I
Wild
think that was your
George.
dry. I think the dry one all happened like the pilots themselves are like,
True.
and they're like,
Yeah.
hey, we can build robots. Okay, that we're not
Easy.
worried about robots. The brain thing, no idea.
I don't know.
Yeah. So
But
yeah, he
yeah.
blows up Gypsy Danger, blows up the core, and he launches through. His little pod launches through.
They're all like, ah. Yeah.
It's kind of a cheesy ending, right? Where they're
A
like, "Oh,
little.
there's no vitals. He's got no vitals." But you know, his suit could be broken. And then she's like hugging him, and he's like, "I can't breathe because you're hugging me so hard." Like,
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I forgot that was the line. Yes, that was terrible. Yes.
Yeah. He's like, "I can't breathe because you're squeezing me." Yeah. And that's how it ends. Yep.
They
That
call
was
something happens, right?
when's this?
He's like, don't they make the guy Marshall? Don't they make him like the head guy?
Oh,
They
the
make,
Australian guy?
yeah, or something,
Yeah,
right?
kinda. He's kind of making decisions when Idris is dead now. So I think he's like next in line, I guess. I
Yeah,
don't know.
something, and they make him and they stop the war clock.
Oh, right. It pans back and
Yeah.
he's like, we have blown up the portal. Stop the clock. Yeah, and everybody
Yeah.
cheers. Everybody's so happy.
So did you watch after it?
I don't think so.
Oh yeah, there's like a mid credits thing.
Is there really? Okay, because I think like literally like our flight had landed and I was like, well, credits, it's the end of it.
Gotcha.
And then even this
So
time I was like, yeah, I've already watched this. There's nothing.
credits.
Let me see. Okay, so they are at the body again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Hannibal Chow rises again.
And he's like, "Where's my shoe?" or whatever he says.
It was censored in this version. Really weird. They like censored it in that version. He's like, "Where's
Oh.
my goddamn shoe?" Like, Jesus. Well, good. I'm so glad to hear that Chow is
Hannibal
alive.
Chow lives.
Pacific Rim 2. Hannibal
But
Chow's Reckoning.
remember the weird thing? Do you remember the weird thing?
Maybe, but not right now.
Was that the blood
Oh.
was like acidic. It was like alien, remember? It was destroying them. It was like melting the
Oh.
suits and stuff when they were attacking.
Oh, I think that one kaiju just had that ability. Like that
That's
was
what I mean.
his.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. So
Was it
like,
that? No, I thought that was Leatherback that
no,
had that.
no. It was this thing.
No?
And
Oh.
so like he's not affected by it, which is interesting.
Yeah. I think you're the only one that remembers that.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a classic. Nobody remembered that thing had acid blood or acid spit. And they were like, hey, it'd be really funny since we already paid,
Ron Perlman, yeah.
we already paid Hellboy to be here. We might as well just
He was like, "Yeah, I'll do it as long as you don't kill me." And they're like, "Well, in the script we kill you." And he's like, "It's fine, just bring me back."
Yeah.
Like,
and
okay.
he's like, did I hear mid-credit scene? I'm like, anything for you, Ron.
Anything.
Anything, Ron. He's like, I want to be in the second one. They're like, well, we can't do that.
I'm a kaiju in the second one.
Chowder.
Chowder.
Chow. Yeah. So
Little
that's
chow.
it. That's Pacific Rim. Aren't you glad I made you watch it?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm
This is
glad
one
you
of the.
made me watch this.
Mhm.
It's indeterminate if I'm glad you made me watch two.
Well, I don't even know if I'm glad I made us watch two yet. So find out. Yeah, but it's just like I don't know, and I don't think it's like it's not fair for us to say like, wow, what a sleeper this film was. Like it did very well in the box office. It's just
Right,
you and I did not go see it.
right,
I
right.
think we're the only
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah.
We're like, hey, did you guys see Pacific? It's like, yeah, we saw it. We were there.
11 years later, we saw it.
Yeah, funny. It's funny that it skipped our radar. It's one of those things where I was like, yeah, I'd like to see it. Then I just kind of was like, totally forgot about it. And then
For
happened to
some
see
reason, I thought it was a part of something, and I was just like, I don't want to read comics or books or.
it might have been, or it might have gone that direction because
Yeah,
they're not doing a third one because the second one bombed apparently.
I'm curious to see what the second one is because
I'm curious to see what the Netflix anime is all about.
it's probably the lead up.
It's probably really good, if I'm being honest with you.
Maybe.
Yeah. I also just keep seeing every time we go on Crunchyroll to watch Dragon Ball, I keep seeing them advertising that new. I don't think it's a new series. New to me. It's called. I think it's called Kaiju 8 or something.
Oh,
And I was like, that's probably really. Did you watch the animated Godzilla Netflix Japanese animes? They were pretty good. They were pretty good. There was like 3 of them. And they were
I
like,
have
oh
only
my
dipped my
God.
toe into Dragon Ball.
Yeah. I just remember that one was like, oh my God, we did it. We defeated Gojira. And then it was like, oh no, that was a baby Gojira. My child. Yeah, that's how that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty great. So yeah, so that's it. So coming up this month for Kaiju month, we're doing
Kaiju.
Pacific Rim 2. I think it's something
Uprising.
rising. Yeah.
Uprising.
Yeah. Which, and like we said, after this movie, like, why is there a second one? Oh, there was actually another portal. It's like, oh, this one's in space. This time we're going to space, boys.
This time it's fight. They're fighting on the other side of the earth.
Because that's the thing. It's like they defeated they blew up the portal. So it's like, would they have still been producing Jaegers, or would they have just been like, well, no need to put any more money into Jaegers?
How's that?
And now we're like 40 years in the future, and like, well, we need all these Jaegers.
Although what they're gonna find is that the aliens on the other side, that was like a facility, and you only blew up the facility, not their like world, and like they're the ones who make the rifts into our world, right? That's what it's gonna be found out.
Oh, the mothership is coming.
Oh God,
Oh, jeez.
there's no way to close the rift this time.
It's the queen. And there's always a queen.
And she's the size
This
of
she
Australia.
is the rift. Great. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what
I'm
that's
gonna
about.
say right
So,
now, I'll tell you right now,
yeah,
if the second movie ends with a nuclear bomb, I'm giving it a thumbs down, no matter how the movie is.
I guarantee you it ends with a nuclear bomb. Yeah. But you know what, though? Even if it is bad, here's the thing. We're also going to be watching Godzilla -1 this month. So that came out. We did not see it in theaters. I think our lives were crazy at the time, and we wanted to see it. Did not get a chance to go see it, but it's on Netflix right now. So if you're watching this, go watch it. It's really good. It's really good. It won a bunch of awards, and it's finally like the original guys making Godzilla again. So it's like it hits that like nostalgic with like modern day
I can
visuals.
imagine.
And you know what's really funny is it's more of a human story with Godzilla in it, if I'm saying so. And I think that's always what made Godzilla good.
Yeah,
Remember how we used to really focus in on like the scientists and everything?
Yeah.
Oh,
Human
um,
element is always
Yeah.
delightful.
And I think that's the thing, is this is like a really great human movie with Godzilla in it. So can't wait to watch that and talk about it with you. And
Yeah.
then we haven't decided on the last kaiju thing yet. So
Yeah, we talked about doing the
yeah, the
latest
Monarch
Kong
show.
Godzilla, the Monarch show. Just other
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff out there.
Yeah,
so.
we didn't see Kong, Godzilla fighting other
Kong.
Kongs, and Kong has like the Infinity Gauntlet, and Godzilla goes like Godzilla Rose. You know, it's pretty great. There's also a baby gorilla that gets smashed around, so I really desperately want to see that.
Yeah. Very
Um,
badly.
You know, we still have not brought Godzuki into live action yet, so
Not yet. Maybe.
well,
Maybe this is the
he
movie.
he was live action, but we haven't seen him currently.
True. Well, this might be the movie. Maybe they bring him in. I mean, we had Mecha Godzilla last movie.
Oh,
but they-
and what's the other one? Manila. Remember Manila? Godzilla's son.
Oh wow. Yes.
Where's that? Where's that?
Gone. Lost to the
Yeah, lost to time.
lost to the interdimensional rift.
Just remember him getting hit in the head with a rock, and it's about the funniest thing you've ever seen in any movie. Yeah. So yeah, that'll do it. And yeah, stick around the rest of the month for Kaiju Month, baby.
Kaiju.
So yeah, that's it for us.
That's it.
We'll see you next time. All right. Yeah. Initiate drift.
July is here with Kai